Hey, what's going on, guys? So, I'm kind of in a somber yet aggravated mood right now. And it's not because anything major has happened again, on ScrewTube, besides a couple of my videos getting copyright claims and age restrictions. But I was having an epiphany last night about the true definition of what I call my version of being a hashtag Marlboro man. And I realized that the conclusion of that for me would be completely separating myself from anything and everyone who is trying to control me, my thoughts, my ideas, my opinions, my perspectives. And, I coupled that with what I already know and have been talking about for years, but I haven't had the nerve to do, as most people don't have the nerve to do. I spoke with Kid Organic, and I understand. He said that he would never, when they deleted his his ScrewTube account with the 26,000 subs, he said he would never upload another video on ScrewTube again. Just like I said that I would never put my commentary on ScrewTube again. And yet here both of us brothers are doing the same fucking thing, knowing that the end result is going to be the same thing. And while a lot of people would say that Einstein, he proved his brilliance with E equals MC squared, I believe that he proved his brilliance when he laid the basis for the definition of insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. See, I've come to realize that this main account that I have on ScrewTube, because there are many aspects of my life where, I'm having ups and downs, problems that need solutions, just like everybody else. But this particular issue is a nemesis. And at the tip end of that nemesis is a Nimrod. And that Nimrod are the people who run this organization called ScrewTube, which of course we know is Google. Okay? Historically, even if you go back to the Industrial Revolution and the, the union steel worker strikes, okay, what you see is a long history, a long streak of men fighting against the attempted controlling tactics of those who own shit that they use to manipulate and siphon the resources that they need from the rest of us by dangling something called convenience through reasonable accommodation over our heads. See, what these companies, I don't care whether you're talking about, the rideshare companies, even Amazon, Uber, ScrewTube, Google, these IT companies, what they're doing is no different than what, companies like, Carnegie Steel and what's the name of it, USA Oil, or uh, you know, what's his name, the governor of New York, Rockefeller, how he got started. Standard Oil, yeah, Standard Oil or any of these companies did back during the Industrial Revolution. What they basically did was they converted the socioeconomic landscape of the United States during the Reconstruction era from a largely agricultural base into an industrial base. Okay. So that basically people went from harvesting fields and farms and selling crop, or going around as private contractors with whatever trade that they had, to being packed into this one building under this one roof, working for this one company. And instead of actually having the knowledge and ability to build, grow, or create something on their own, they're building and creating for this company in exchange for a paper paycheck. This ensured that, this ensured maximum extraction of energy and resources out of the average individual. Okay. For these companies to get fat off of the profits of, off of the, sweat, off of the backs, the labor from, the sweat and the backs of hardworking men. Okay. And what I realized is that essentially us as content creators, or whatever you do for a living, we're essentially allowing these bastards to do the exact same thing to us now. YouTube, these rideshare companies, whatever you talk about, Amazon, they would be nothing without us. Nothing. Okay? We create the content to put on their platform. But because they control it and own it, and because there's enough people flocking to this shit, they know that one individual leaving or protesting is not going to hurt them. And they use our individual talent and our individual, ingenuity to, siphon out the resources that they need to make a profit. Okay? And so I realized the only way to put an end to that, to keep these people from controlling my content and making money off of my content while telling me what I can and can't say. Because don't get it twisted, even when your channel is not monetized, okay, these motherfuckers are making money off of you. I realized the only way to stop that is to eventually, if they don't remove the channel, I'm going to have to remove the channel. I'm going to have to click these two boxes, and then I'm going to have to click that big blue rectangular box right there. Delete my content. And to let you know that they know that they're full of shit, and that they don't really, even if they're controlling you, even if they're censoring you, they don't want you to remove your shit, and they certainly don't want that idea to spread, is they take time to remind you of what you're giving up if you do it. They tell me the following will be deleted: 478 videos, one playlist, your 31 subscriptions to other channels, 3,590 subscribers to your channel, comments that you made on YouTube, your replies and thumbs up comments, your messages, your search and watch history, plus 2 purchased items. And I have to consider whether I'm willing to do this. But I realize that to truly become the total manifestation and example of what a Marlboro man is, because it's beyond just the what people call the sisterhood of failure, the Black American female. Okay, she's not the only one that wants control over my manhood. Okay, if I'm not playing ball, if I'm not simping out, there are other groups, even beyond liberals, these corporations that have a vested interest in making sure that I either play ball or that I'm kicked out of, you know, the the bubble of reasonable accommodation. And so it's just like in that movie The Matrix, what you have to get to the point of doing is you have to be willing to unplug yourself from the matrix. And that's a hard thing to do. It's that's why somehow my commentary found its way back on the shit ass site. Well, not somehow, I explained how, the story within a story. But you know the fear of losing views, the fear of losing subscriptions, you have to be able to rid of that in your mind. And sooner than later, I'm going to have to press this button. I am accepting of that now. I'm going to have to press this button. I want to at least get my Amber Geiger Botham Jean documentary out. And, because once I press that button, I'm completely free of Google and ScrewTube. I'm completely free from their control and their censorship and their attempts to manipulate the narrative of what the masses of people have a right to think on their own. So that is what's coming down the pipe. I don't know when, but I have a feeling that before this year is up, if YouTube doesn't do it, I'm going to do it. But it's just a matter of time. I can't live on, I've never allowed anybody, not a black female, not a job supervisor back when I was working in the workforce before I started my own business. I have never allowed anyone or any institution to control me and make my life miserable consistently. Eventually, I got to the point where I realized it's time to go. And see, the difference between when YouTube deletes channels and when I delete a channel, and when you as the content creator deletes a channel, is that you may feel bad at first, but you feel free and empowered in the long run if you press that button, because you realize you took your power back from these assholes. And eventually that's what I'm going to have to do. And when I say eventually, I mean before this year is over, I'm going to have to make that choice. And as I've said before, because I realize as long as I have this account, as long as I have this motherfucking account, I'm going to keep doing the same fucking thing and leaving myself vulnerable. Idiots, the same no life having moron that keeps thumbing down my videos, because they're a hater and they don't have a life of their own and they don't have any talent of their own. The only thing that they have is their ability to troll. That same person that's thumbing down my videos is probably flagging every one of my videos. And that's fine. And they know they don't have to accurately flag. All they have to do is spam flag, because YouTube allows that. And if they flag every video that I make, old and new, eventually YouTube's moderation team is going to jump on something. And so I realize that I am allowing the enemy to wage war on me on their turf. I have to get the enemy on my turf. And right now, even though I know eventually I also am going to have to get my own website, that turf is FS Avenger, followed by BitChute. Now, BitChute has proven that they will bend but not break in the past. So really just FS Avenger right now. But, of course, like I said, I talked about the problems with only having an FS Avenger account. We can't get enough Negroes over there to, once I publish a video, to actually watch the shit. So it would be, it's, from a content creator's perspective, it would be tough not even getting 100 views per video, especially when you put a lot of work into that shit. But, you know, I'm tired of playing possum. And I know it's just a matter of time before they start purging again. So, that is coming down the pipe, folks. I will announce it. It won't be sudden if I do it. Now, if YouTube does it, it's a different story. But if I do it, I will announce it before it happens. 24 to 72 hours before it happens. And that'll be that. Just unplug. And whatever happens from there, happens. Just like every other thing in my life that went down, I'll recuperate and I'll come back stronger. Fuck them. And one other thing really important before I get to the title of this video. This is a video that has been sitting on my docket for the last 3 months. And so I feel it's time to get it published, get it off my chest, get it out of sitting in queue. It's entitled White Liberal Hypocrisy at its Finest, Orchestrating a Smear Campaign Against the Black Man's Image. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the name Kermit Gosnell. Some of you brothers from the Philly area, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, may be very familiar with this guy. He was a black abortion clinic doctor who was charged, tried, and convicted of murdering babies that were born, after after they came out of their mother's womb. And what he was convicted of was snipping the back of the necks of these small infants while right after they were born, right after they came out of the womb. And he received a life sentence, and they decided to make a movie about this guy Kermit Gosnell. Now, you know how I feel about abortion. I spoke about it in a series of videos I made last year. I spoke about it in relation to the anti-abortion far-right extremist Eric Rudolph that set off the bomb at the Atlanta Olympics protesting abortion. I have said that abortion is as good as murder as far as I'm concerned. So I really don't have any sympathy for this guy from that perspective. But from another perspective, I found it incredibly interesting and disingenuous that Kermit Gosnell is the only abortion doctor to ever be charged with murder. He's the only one. There is an institution called Planned Parenthood. I mean, this is a corporation. This is like a baby killing factory set up by a white liberal woman called Margaret Sanger that specifically has targeted the black diaspora, the black community, black America for decades. People want to talk about the riots and the massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Planned Parenthood kills that many black people every day. And I mean every day. I believe it's 19 million, including, members, female members of my own family. The amount of babies that have been killed in the womb. And one of the things that really fucked with me about this story isn't that they gave this dude life in prison, because essentially what he was doing was teenage black girls and black girls, in their 20s or whatever, they would come into his office more than 5 months pregnant. I think one of you females can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think 5 months or 6 months or something like that is the cutoff point that they can do an abortion. After that, you have to have the baby. I think that's by federal law, or it might vary by state, but I think that's federal law. What he was doing was, girls were coming into his clinic more than 7 months. Some of them were about to pop. Some of them were popping, and he would have them pay him extra. He performed normal abortions too, but he would have them pay him a couple of $100, and he would just get rid of the baby after it was born. And so they were saying, well, that's murder. But I find that completely hypocritical when you consider the fact, and it is a fact, that Planned Parenthood has murdered more babies than probably everybody who has ever lived in the city of Philadelphia total. I believe Planned Parenthood has, they have clinics outside of the United States, in Mexico and South America too. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they do. And there were two things that fucked with me about this. Number one is that I know damn well in the millions of procedures that they've performed, because there wasn't a camera there all the time, there weren't witnesses there all the time. You don't think that there has not been at least one time where a black female has come to Planned Parenthood over 6 months, 5 or 6 months pregnant, and asked to have an abortion? You don't think there's not one time that they haven't snuck in a newborn birth right after it was born and took that baby out? You don't think they snuck a few newborn infants in here and there, in the millions of abortions that they've performed, the thousands of clinics that they have? Come on, son. They want to make the image of baby killing the face of a black man by convicting this one abortion clinic doctor. See, this is what I try to warn black men. And see, I'm not even supposed to be on it. You know what? Click the link. I'm fucking this video completely up. Click the link in the description box. I gave a commentary on the damn video. Click, because I'm going too far with this. Click the link in the description box to see this nonsense. I'm supposed to be just giving y'all a summary. Click the link in the description box. Click the link in the pinned post to see this garbage. And that's indeed what it is, garbage. And one other thing that I had a problem with was that while they were quick to convict Kermit Gosnell, they weren't quick to convict the females who consented and willingly, knowingly went to him to have their newborn babies murdered. They didn't touch them. They actually used them as witnesses in the case against him. Now imagine that. Imagine that. That's like a person giving a bank robber a gun, and the bank robber robs a bank, kills somebody, and you say, oh, well, you provided the gun, so we're going to use you as a material witness against him. You provided the gun knowing what he was going to do, in hopes and agreement that you were going to get part of the cut. How are you not complicit in the death of that person who died during that botched robbery? But again, this is the game that white liberals play. So long as they can stick a evil face on black men and post up black women as leaders, this is what they're going to do. And this is another reason why I have to delete this channel, because I'm not going to stop telling the motherfucking truth. I don't care how much they fucking flag. I'm going to keep talking my shit. I don't care. And now to the topic at hand. This particular story, although we know that, swirling and Negro bedwentry is pretty much as widespread as stage 4 cancer at this point. So this particular case would not stand out if it was not for the story behind it, hence the title of this video. But this is really an indictment, not just on the black American female, but on her level of intelligence. Okay? And this is not just in my opinion. Because you have, as seen in the title of this article, which I'm going to at least partially read for you guys, a white man who at 47, who's been dating his fiancée, age 24, since she was a teenager, reveals he sought out a younger woman because the sex would be better. Now, this guy, as you're going to see when I scroll down, is, I believe, a New York City lawyer who claims he's been dating and humping this girl since she was 18, and she admitted that she was doing this behind her parents' back, indicating that she came from a two-parent home, which is, again, why I will never have a daughter if I have any children at all. Okay? But, they've had a relationship since she's been a senior in high school. And he admits that he only married her, as you will see in the article, because of her body, and the fact that he figured that because she had a younger body, the sex would be better. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read this article, and then I'm going to explain to you why this story stands out from other failed swirling stories, and I will also explain why this is going to be another failed swirl girl story at the end of this article. So let me read this. I don't know how much of this I'm going to read, but let's go on here. Jason Smith, 47, a law attorney, and Azarel Smith, 24, met online in February of 2014. Azarel was just 18 years old at the time and didn't want her parents to know. But the pair are now engaged after Jason popped the question on a Vegas trip. Truthfully, I thought the sex would be better, Jason candidly admitted. Now, when he says he thought the sex would be better, which I'm assuming that is past tense based on him saying the word thought, which is indicative that maybe he has a confirmation now that the sex wasn't better, okay? Which is indicative of the fact that there is a timestamp, there's an expiration date on this marriage, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, it says, a man who proposed to a woman half his age reveals he sought out a younger partner because he thought the sex would be better and to avoid feeling pressurized into marriage and kids. Jason Smith, 47, a law attorney, and Azarel Smith, 24, an office manager, live in New York City and met on online dating site Match.com in February 2014 and agreed to meet up for a dinner date. Azarel was just 18 years old at the time and didn't want her parents to know she was dating a white man, an older man, aka. The pair dated on and off for the first few years, and love finally prevailed 6 years into the relationship. Then Jason popped the question in 2018 during a trip to Vegas. She said yes, and Jason, who was married once before, was candid about his reasons about why he wanted to date a younger woman, a black woman, in the first place. He said, quote, being with a younger girl is exciting. She introduces me to new adventures, new songs, lingo, etc. Yeah, you married her for her taste in music, right? She has a more open mind when it comes to the world and obviously a better body. She made me a much happier man. She's supportive of me in business, something I was missing when I was single. And it continues saying here, Azrael was just 18 years old at the time and didn't want her parents to know she was dating an older man. Yeah, dating is code for something else, but this is ScrewTube. So, says stuff it already said. Jason, who was married once before, was candid about his reasons about why he wanted to date a younger woman in the first place. Azrael's huge diamond engagement ring is pictured. So he says, she has a way of keeping me focused. Let me just stop. And she is really mindful of the world. And the world must be small and round and about 5 or 6 inches long. But yeah. Truthfully, I thought the sex would be better. Jason added that the intimate side of the relationship is now better because they are in love, not just because of his partner's age. But she does have a better body than the older women I've dated, which sure makes things more enjoyable as well, he explained. Despite the physical side of the relationship clearly being important to Jason, the pair actually abstained from sex during the first few years of their relationship. Yeah, fucking right. Yeah, right. Sure, you're gonna date a female for her body because you thought the sex would be better for 6 years and not poke her. Right. Yeah, okay. Right. Okay, man. Sure, whatever you say, he explained. Despite the physical side of the relationship clearly being important to Jason, the pair actually abstained from sex during the first few years of the relationship due to Azriel's wishes. So you're saying basically she was just performing fellatio on you. Because I know that y'all wasn't keeping y'all hands off each other for 6 years. You're a white man and a lawyer with money, and you just gonna date a chick for 6 years exclusively and not be getting some type of sexual gratification. Man, come on, dude. What kind of fool these people take me for? Trying to paint the BAW in a positive image again. This is the lie that liberals keep feeding y'all. But let me keep reading because I can't wait to get to the end of this. We abstained from sex the first few years of our relationship. Jason was very respectful of my choice and treated me like a lady, she explained. God. I'm getting flashbacks to ghetto gaggers. Let me just get through this. The no sex didn't deter him from doing nice things or loving me. Respect I wasn't used to getting from guys. Jason said being with a younger girl is exciting. She introduces me to adventures, new song. Okay, we read that. As well as more thrills in the bedroom, Jason said he was looking for less pressure to start a family. I thought that she was less likely to push for immediate marriage and kids. I just really wanted a relationship where I didn't feel like there would be that kind of pressure. Also, I felt like I was at an age where I had the time and money to entertain someone fresh. The pair have also taught each other a lot. They said, yeah, yeah. Oh, they taught each other a lot, all right. Woo, man, I should have put this on FS Avenger. Azriel, I may have to do a follow-up. Azriel, who wants to go to law school, said that Jason has given her much needed guidance on her burgeoning career as well as personal life. Corporate American Hood rat alert. Corporate American Hood rat alert. She said you get to be with someone who has experienced more of life so they can give really wise input to help you make better decisions. Whether that be with your professional life or personal life, for instance, I just finished my bachelor's and trying to figure out my next steps. Says, I'm interested in getting into law school, and Jason has been there to help me through the process since he's already done it himself. The 24-year-old added that she finally feels like herself, saying, I've experienced a lot that I could have only dreamed about doing before him. For the first time in a relationship, I truly am able to be my natural, mature self and feel like I fit in. I didn't feel this dating guys my age. I've gained a lot of confidence in myself. That's code for dating black guys, people, in case you didn't know. However, the pair admitted they do face challenges because of their 23-year age gap, but over the years they have learned how to make their relationship work, saying they are best friends above all else. Jason said, we are so different, almost too different to get bored of each other, fingers crossed. Also, we are truly best friends before anything. We've built a strong base for our relationship. It would take a lot for anyone to break us apart. Yeah, right. That's the same thing Jamie and Nikki said. Subject for another video. He said his younger partner has a strong personality. You sure that's the only thing strong? Let me stop. Let me stop. Okay. And can be hard headed and snappy, but he knows how to handle her. Okay, I got it. You know what? Okay, if that happens one more time, and I'm tempted to say something in the form of a joke or a snide remark, I'm gonna have to stop reading this fucking article. He said his younger partner has a strong personality and can be hard headed and snappy, but he knows how to handle her. Black men, are you listening to this? Are y'all listening to this? Why didn't I put this on FS Avengers so I could go ham? Anyway, okay. Sometimes there's stuff we obviously can't relate about, and the fact we are at different places in life. However, I don't feel like any of that is significant difficulty, Jason explained. Azrael said that her husband-to-be can do small things to irritate her, including repeating himself or making phone calls when she's sleeping, but admits that the generational difference makes her feel more stable. The 24-year-old who has just graduated from university with a bachelor's degree said, quote, I think the relationship runs a little bit more smoothly because you don't have two millennials trying to figure out life. In other words, you're gold digging. Okay. When one of you are older, it feels a bit more stable. Code, when one of you has money, the other of you don't really got to do no work. But, okay. Anyway, both Jason and Azrael's family and friends are supportive of their relationship, though sometimes Jason receives the unsolicited advice to watch out when dating someone younger. He said, some of my friends think I'm the luckiest guy in the world and others are very wary of our relationship. Mostly because of their own failed relationships with younger women, so I don't pay them much mind. Her father isn't in the picture, but my dad is totally fine with the relationship. What? Her father isn't in the picture, but my dad is totally fine with the relationship. My parents actually think she's a very sweet girl and have welcomed her with open arms. What? I guess he's talking about his dad. So he's saying that her father is non-existent. Okay. Now the story is developing into a bigger, more clearer picture of what's going on here. Because they said her parents, but her parents are separated, which means she's probably living with her single baby mama. So it says, Azrael added, my friends are very accepting. They didn't even bat an eye when I introduced Jason. Of course not. He's white. Duh. I'm trying, man. They were used to seeing me date older guys. It's always been my thing. Whiter guys is what she means. In a word of advice to others in age gap relationships, Jason stressed the importance of doing what makes you happy without being fazed by the opinion of others. He said, do what makes you happy without influence from your friends or family. At the end of the day, it's not their relationship. You have to love who you are with. Be confident in your decision to love the person you love. It's the best way to win over even the toughest of critics. Okay, here's the fun part. Here's where I get to tell you why this relationship is going to fail and why this is an indictment on the intelligence or lack thereof of the BAW. It's very simple. It's not because I don't like interracial relationships. It's not because I, think swirling black females are hypocrites. It's because this dude is telling this black girl the very reason, the premise of why he got engaged to and married her. He didn't marry her for her personality. He didn't marry her for who she was, her character. He married her for her body and for the sex. Meaning this guy is an exhibitionist. He is a sexual adventurer. It's only a matter of time before he's going to be cheating on her. It's only a matter of time before he's going to be, dropping divorce papers on her. Okay. He's saying that he doesn't want kids with her because all he wants to do is use her as a penis holster and cum dumpster. It's that simple. The only reason he probably agreed to marry her is so that he could, persuade her that she's the only one, that he wants to keep her from, fucking other guys. While in the meantime, he's going around slipping his dick in other women behind her back, and it's only a matter of time before she finds that out. How many times have we seen this situation play itself out in similar circumstances? The only difference is this guy is outright, he's coming out and blatantly saying, indirectly without saying, that as soon as I get tired of your black ass, I'm going to chuck you out the door. I'm going to kick you to the curb. I'm going to flush you down the toilet. Thanks for the memories. Just like I told y'all with the females in the porn industry. And, in a way, I don't feel really sympathy towards this bimbo, but I do. It is kind of sad that she does not understand this, that she and her friends cannot pick up on this, that his friends have more intuition about where this relationship is headed, called nowhere, than her friends and family do. Okay? This dude is telling you what's going to happen when you hit the wall, so to speak. He's telling you what's going to happen when you get too old. He's telling you what's going to happen when, you're giving him a blowjob and he's not getting that same tingle down there anymore. He's telling you what's going to happen when your sex doesn't do it for him anymore. He's telling you. He's going to do the same thing he did to his previous wife and the other women that he's dealt with. He's going to chuck you out the door. Okay? This guy has a head full of ebony and interracial porn. Okay? Probably including ghetto gaggers. And as soon as he's done using this poor girl, he's going to chuck her out the door. Money bet. If this relationship, if this so-called marriage lasts 5 years, I would genuinely be impressed. This is one of those white guys that he literally just lives his life for him. And look, I respect the Marlboro Man mindset. I came up with that terminology, okay? But it is kind of dirtball to marry a person just for the purpose of deception, okay? If somebody is telling me that they're just getting with me for my dick and we're supposed to be in a relationship, red flags would start raising up immediately. Like, man, we can just, if we just, in a relationship to fuck, we can fuck without being in a relationship. That's called friends with benefits, my nigga. That ain't no fucking relationship. That's a sexuationship or a situationship. But again, this is why swirlers, they fail. And what's sad, and this is where, black men being half the problem comes into play. When this female was talking about she wasn't getting what she was getting from this guy, from younger guys, we know that was code for black men. I mean, her name is Azriel. She has a single mother. Her father ain't in the picture. We know the type of dude she was messing around with before this dude. The very reason why she went online was to find a white man, because she could find any simp ass, or thug ass black dude, to hop up and down on the street, or, in community college or at the university, whatever. She was specifically looking for a white man with money, and she found one. And she thinks that she secured the bag. What she doesn't know is that this dude is insulting her right in front of her fucking face by saying the same thing that David Carroll and Akwesi said. Hot rag. Hot rag. He's hot ragging this female. And they're lying about no sex. Even if they didn't have intercourse, she was doing something to him in that 6 years before they decided to jump the broom, so to speak. Okay? When he get done hot ragging this chick, he gonna chuck her out the door. Just like he did other females, and he gonna find somebody else. If he's not already cheating on her. Okay? He don't want to have children with her. That's a dead giveaway. A dude with that much money and that much success, living in New York City, an accomplished lawyer, he don't want to have children with you. What does that tell you? It's only a matter of time before this flops. And I got a feeling that she's gonna bear the brunt of it. But oh well. That's what happens when you're a swirler that is, deceived enough to believe in that pink pill crap. You get burned. And the sad part about this, and this is what I was about to say, is that this bimbo, when she gets that wake up call, she can come running back across the color line, unlike other races of women, right back to your black ass, black man. And money bet, in 10 years from now, She'll be married to or in a relationship with some black Captain Save-A-Ho ass simp like Devon Franklin, and she'll be pro-black, sticking up her fist in the air, talking about Wakanda and evil albinoid devils. Talk to you later, guys.